All right, the New York Knicks beat the Indiana Pacers.
Where's your Knicks hat?
Kwab, I don't have it with me.
Where's your Knicks? Oh, my fault, bro.
I don't know where it's at,
Sorry.
bro.
My fault.
It's a crisis.
My bad.
It's a crisis. I didn't want to bring it up,
My bad.
and you brought it up.
My bad.
That's messed up. I want to celebrate this Knicks win. Can we do that?
Let's yeah, sure. Let's go ahead with that.
Knicks beat the Pacers 128-115. Karl-Anthony Towns, 40 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Great game. Josh Hart, 30 and 10 and 5. Jalen Brunson, the ref said, nah, you ain't playing today. Pacers, Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 5 rebounds. Tyrese Haliburton with 16, 8 and 5. And Ben Mathurin had 18. Overall, I thought it was a really solid game from a Knicks fan perspective, in a game where Jalen Brunson draws his 5th foul early in the third quarter, where he was in foul trouble for most of the game. To see Karl-Anthony Towns step up in the way he did, and to be honest with you, I think kind of saved the Knicks in the first half, because in my opinion, even though the Knicks were up by 8 at half, probably for the first quarter and a half, the Knicks were being outplayed by the Indiana Pacers. I thought the Pacers looked like the better team for the first quarter and a half, and even when the Knicks were keeping up with the Pacers, it had everything to do with Karl-Anthony Towns and also Josh Hart, but mainly I think Karl-Anthony Towns put a stop to whatever Indiana was doing, made sure that they did not go away too far before the Knicks couldn't catch up on the offensive end. I thought he did a better job than he typically does when Indiana was trying to pick on him with the pick and rolls. He defended the hoop better than he typically does. Overall, this is a game where if you're a Knicks fan, last year in the playoffs against Indiana, the same team, when Jalen Brunson was off the floor, it was like the team panicked and no one knew what to do and the offense couldn't function. That was not the case today. Deuce McBride comes off the bench, had a great game. Landry Shamet had a good game. Campaign drove me crazy in some moments, but the bench actually scored the basketball today. So overall, if you were to tell me that the Knicks were going to win by double digits in a game where Jalen Brunson had picked up his 5th foul early in the third quarter, I would have signed up for that in any way possible. And even though I was kind of underwhelmed and disappointed with how they came out and thought that the Pacers looked like the better team for their first quarter and a half, very, very pleased with how they picked up the defensive intensity, especially in the second quarter. Late second quarter, definitely second half. Good win for the Knicks. I don't know what it says about them, because this team, even though they've won 8 out of the last 10, still can't do it against teams like the Celtics, still can't do it against teams like the Thunder. They lost to the Cavs earlier this year. So to me, it's kind of like, yeah, you're like the best of the next tier. And as a Knicks fan, that's not where you want to be. But Kwab, your thoughts about the game?
Well, one, Karl-Anthony Towns had like a good game, a really, really good game.
Great game.
A really, really good game.
Bro, he had 40 points.
He hasn't really been playing well recently, so it's
True.
it was really good to see him have like a really, really good game. I think he was very decisive in what he was doing. I think that's what's been missing. Even though whatever with the finger injuries he's been dealing with, a lot of your recent losses have come off like him seeing double teams or seeing different coverages, and he wasn't as decisive as he was tonight. So I think that factored into it. Like if he was going to post, he would go to post, get to his move right away, attack right away, go when he was shooting threes. Just a very great game by him, decisive. Like you said, it felt like he kept you guys not afloat, but made sure you guys maintained the lead and led you.
He was a stopgap. Loved it.
Yeah. Great game by him. Josh Hart has been playing well, very, very well lately. Just some of the numbers he's been putting up. If he was doing this at the start of the season, you could also make the argument like he should have been an all-star also.
Oh, he's been doing this all year. He
Not
should
all
have been
year.
an all-star.
He hasn't been doing
Mostly all year, Kwab. He's been
he hasn't
doing
been
this
putting up 30 and 10 all year.
No, but I mean, just like the role
triple doubles and
he has like 8 triple doubles. He does
Yes.
everything.
Like as the season's progressed, he's been playing better.
All right.
Beginning of the year, not so much. Okay,
Go ahead. Go.
Relax. Let the Knicks cave down, brother. Like let it. There's also the bench play, very solid bench play. And it was kind of part of it was like Tibbs was forced to play the bench because Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble. Why was he in the game when he had 4 fouls?
I don't know. And honestly, why was he in the game at the end when the game was like pretty much won? They're up 16 with 4.5 minutes left to go, and they play the Atlanta Hawks in less than 24 hours?
Just questions. Just random questions.
Jeez,
Just
bro.
random
I'm not even
questions.
like a big minutes police guy. Like, Josh Hart says it's not a problem. The players say it's not a problem. But there's still some sort of give and take here. Like there's no need. They were outplaying Indiana all fourth quarter. There's no need to bring Jalen Brunson back in the game with 4.5, 5 minutes left to go in the game. Facts. Because you're scared you might blow a 16-point lead.
Facts. Tip's got to cover his parlays, like I always say. Cover his parlays. On the Pacers side, yes, they were without Miles Turner. That may have factored into the Karl-Anthony Towns big game.
Yeah.
Just not having him, and also I think they were rumored to be signing Alex Len, who I guess now is going to the Lakers.
Whatever the Lakers want, Lakers get.
Yeah.
Whatever Lakers want, Lakers get.
Lakers get, you know what I mean? So that might help them in the size wise. But Thomas Bryant had a decent game for him, 18 points, 9 rebounds. To me, the Pacers, I think they said this is the first game they have lost 2 games back to 2 games in a row all season, which is impressive. Which is an impressive stat. But to me, it's always when it comes down to Pacers, the offense. Is
not all season. This calendar year.
This calendar year, okay, that makes way more sense. Because I was when he said, I was okay, that doesn't.
Actually, Pacer fans, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
Please let us know if we're wrong.
Yeah.
But they said, if this is calendar year, regardless, that's still, if it's this calendar year or the whole season, very impressive. Very impressive still. To me, when it comes down to the Pacers, comes down to, is your defense going to be able to hold up? Because I always feel like they can, the way they run and score, they can play with any team. But if they're not, defensively, if they're not on point, they end up giving 128 points up and only putting up 115.
And I'll say this about the Pacers. I thought they played really good defense to start the game.
Okay.
The first quarter and a half. Again, it changed in the middle of the second quarter. The game just kind of flipped and it never really went back. But the Pacers, when Brunson was in the game, they were picking the Knicks up full court.
Yeah.
I think T.J. McConnell, Mathurin, they were going over screens very well. They were staying connected to the ball handler. I just thought the Knicks played really well. I think both things can be true. I think at the end of the day, the Pacers have picked up the intensity on the defensive end, and this is why they've been playing better as of late. And I thought their game plan was fine. I thought they executed their defensive game plan pretty well. But Karl-Anthony Towns, like I said, he's single-handedly, it doesn't matter. And this is why people say you need people who can get their own shot and people who can get a bucket in the playoffs, because you can play really great defense and it doesn't matter. And that was the case with Cat in the first half. I mean, he's the reason why the Knicks were able to stay with the Pacers and eventually separate themselves at the end of the second quarter. Brunson comes back in. You go on a 10-0 run, and all of a sudden it's a double-digit game, and the Pacers never really recovered from that. But you're right. It is defensively. The Knicks, they played a team today in the Knicks who played a faster pace than them today, who can keep up with them in transition, who can outplay them in transition. It's a different Knicks team this year, especially the way they've been playing lately. And the Pacers just couldn't keep up today, and that was a weird thing to see. Now, obviously, they didn't have Miles Turner. That's a big piece. I'm not going to sit here and act like Miles Turner is not a big piece and that this game wouldn't have looked differently. I'm not saying the Pacers would have won, but it would have looked differently. The Pacers did not shoot well from 3. Miles does shoot threes, even though he's a big guy. And that's the one thing that I found kind of weird about the Pacers today. They got into the paint at will.
Yeah,
especially the first.
The paint. Yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't. They shot 31 threes for 29%. They made 9. But it wasn't the typical, a lot of those threes came in late in the fourth quarter when the scrubs came in. They were trying to, also kind of climb back. For a while there, it looks like they just weren't hunting the three-point line. It was kind of weird to watch. It was you're getting the paint, and you're hitting twos here and there, but you're not really, out-mathing the Knicks or trying to do so. And it felt very unfamiliar. It was
Usually, I'll say this. Usually when I watch the Pacers, they don't really try to out-math teams as much as, nobody does.
But the three is Haliburton's going to take them. Siakam's going to take them. You have, I don't know how many minutes Ben Shepherd played today, but Shepherd could shoot.
Yeah.
Miles Turner could shoot. You have players who can shoot the 3.
Yeah, but I was going to say that with their shot diet. Wow, their shot diet usually, to me, it comes from them pushing the tempo and pushing the pace. And that usually stems from them getting stops and just being able to run. It just felt like they weren't getting, especially during second quarter moving on, they weren't getting a lot of stops. Now, again, I feel like if Turner was in the game, would have been a difference in terms of I don't know how much of because it felt like how much of an impact Cat would have had throughout the course of the game, because it just felt like there were so many moments where the Pacers would make a little a small itty bitty run, and Cat would just be like, okay, bucket
Cat would
here
get
and
sassy,
run.
baby.
Yeah, I
Get
mean,
sassy. Let's get sassy, ladies
I
and
mean,
gentlemen.
even with the assist and even the pass and the rebound, like just a lot of very tough key plays he made.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens if Turner's in the game, who's a great defensive player.
Agreed.
It would have maybe slowed down that momentum. But I mean, good win for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I don't. The one thing I'll ask you though, both teams healthy. Who wins in the series? Because I don't.
I
Think
don't
you
know.
guys, I don't think you guys
I
are
actually
stopping.
don't.
I don't
don't
think
know.
you guys are stopping T.J. McConnell.
You know, and bro, you laugh, but like last year,
I'm not joking.
Yeah, they could
I
not.
said it
stop
last
you.
year. I told you last year.
They could not stop you. So I'll say this: I think the Pacers missing Miles Turner was a big deal today, because also like Miles, even though he's a big guy, he like extends the floor,
Yep.
and the Knicks like really they beat up the Pacers on the glass today.
Yeah.
Second chance points, especially early on, like getting offensive rebounds, getting an extra shot, and grabbing defensive rebounds, right? Like you can't finish a possession without grabbing a defensive rebound. And the Knicks were just a better defensive rebounding team today, offensive rebounding team today. And that a lot has to do with Miles Turner, big guy, not in the paint, don't got to worry about him. And then also on the other end, Miles Turner, he stretches the floor. So like someone like Cat or whoever's guarding Miles Turner, maybe Precious, is out.
Yup.
You know, they're not in the paint when these shots are going up. So it does like missing Miles was a big deal. Like I'm not going to say it wasn't, but you know, the Knicks are missing OG too, so I don't want to play tit for tat.
Yeah.
I don't know who wins in a series. I genuinely don't. I would like to say the Knicks, but I don't have the same faith and confidence in this Knicks team that I had last year, where it was just kind of like, I know that going into a 7-game series, no matter who they play, they're going to out-rebound them. They're going to out-toughen them on the boards. They're going to be the tougher team. They're going to bring the defensive intensity. I think you could make an argument that the Pacers lately have been a better defensive team than the Knicks. I know people don't look at the Pacers in that I mean, with those glasses on.
Yeah.
But since the beginning of the year, like they pick up full court, they put ball pressure, they have point of attack defenders who can actually get over, screens. They're not, I'm not by any means a great defensive team, but they have good defenders and they play good defense. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. I think the Knicks have a higher ceiling. I think if both teams are playing at their best, the Knicks win that series. Okay. But the Knicks have shown that they have a floor. That floor is ugly. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who wins that series. If you were to ask me water gun ahead, I would say the Knicks. I would say the Knicks win.
When the Pacers are playing Pacer basketball, that includes Haliburton playing at that superstar level that he's only had like moments this year. Not that run he had last year, ridiculous. He's just never. It feels like he's never gotten back to that point since the injury. Offensively, they feel unstoppable, and
Mikal Bridges didn't do a great job on him in the first quarter. Like maybe OG gets that assignment, but like Mikal, I know Haliburton's final stat line wasn't great. Like it wasn't like eye popping, but in the first quarter and a half, like he was working Mikal Bridges. Like,
oh, shocker, Mikal Bridges getting scored on. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it was mostly off the pick and roll. And
Mikal Bridges getting scored on in the pick and roll. That's.
I'm just saying, like
crazy.
This, like obviously the Knicks won this game by 13 points, but early on it didn't look like that was going to happen. I thought the Pacers thoroughly outplayed the Knicks for the first quarter and a half until Cat got sassy, baby.
See what happens? Knicks win when you don't wear your Knicks hat. That's what happens.
Stop it, man. We have plenty of Knick reviews where I'm wearing my Knick hat. It's cold, bro. It's cold in New York. It's freezing.
It's cold. Yeah, man.
It's snowing right now.
Yeah, facts.
So, all right. Well, listen. The Knicks win. They beat the Pacers 128-115. Kwab and I will be back tomorrow. We're going to recap Heat Thunder. So that should be an interesting game. New look Heat, a team that maybe we should watch out in the Eastern Conference. I don't know. Who knows? You never know with the Heat these days. Kwab's a huge Heat culture fan.
Kwab's not a huge Heat culture fan. Please stop saying that. Those are lies. Kwab. Why am I speaking in third person? I enjoy trolling my friends who are Knicks fans when it comes to the Heat because I feel like they'll never be able to beat the Heat. Just period. Just
whatever. And
not
then
now, not
Thursday,
ever.
Thursday we'll have Warriors Rockets, and then after that it's the All-Star break. Kwab and I will probably put together a full episode that includes, final report card grades, power rankings, maybe some All-Star game predictions. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for another reaction of the Dime. Peace.